Welcome everybody to Founders Unfiltered. Jeff Ponders II of ID Ventures. We appreciate you coming out today. This episode of Founders Unfiltered is part of FutureLAND. I'm sure you saw that when you walked through the door and you saw FutureLAND and FutureLAND and FutureLAND and FutureLAND this way. But Jumpstart is very happy to not only be a part of FutureLAND with a few different speakers and a few different presentations, but also be a supporter of FutureLAND. So we also thank you for coming out and supporting this new kind of grassroots entrepreneurial initiative in Cleveland. And in that same vein, we invite you to join us for the Pitch Cypher finale at FutureLAND later today. That's going to be at 5 o'clock at Tower City. Pitch Cypher is a pitch competition featuring diverse entrepreneurs that has been happening all summer long. This is going to be the finale that pits the winners of each of the previous pitch competitions, as well as a couple of the other top audience vote getters for the grand prize this year. So we invite you to go down and check out Pitch Cypher. Should say go up and check out Pitch Cypher at Tower City at 5 o'clock, and that's going to be right before the homecoming concert and all that good stuff. So if you're sticking around for all that, then definitely get there early and check out the Pitch Cypher finale. But we are here right now for the featured event of this hour, which is Founders Unfiltered with Jeff Ponders II. So I'm going to read his bio because, first of all, it's impressive, and second of all, I don't want to get anything wrong. But Jeff Ponders II has composed a career more reflective of his training in jazz improvisation than the linear path of the stereotypical Ivy League alumni. As a professional saxophonist, keynote speaker, and business strategist, Jeff has infused innovation, creativity, and infectious energy, which you're all going to see real soon, into some of the world's most influential brands and audiences. He's leveraged his unique experiences from the boardroom to the bandstand to develop and lead strategic initiatives for organizations like General Motors, Walmart, and Colgate, while concurrently reaching back to support small businesses and tech entrepreneurs. Today, Jeff is principal with Invest Detroit Ventures and founding partner of The Better Company, where he works with ambitious professionals to help them leverage authenticity to amplify their superpowers. This is his official bio, by the way. He's a graduate of the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania and proudly resides in his hometown of Detroit with his family. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Jeff Ponders II to Founders Unfiltered. Wow. Jeff, have a seat.
Thanks, man.
Like I said earlier, really explore this space. We got the full couch. If you need to tell me about your problems, I'm here, I'm listening. I want to talk to you about so many things because you're involved in so many things, and your musical career, your investment activity, but the name of this show is Founders Unfiltered. So let's start there. And though you've moved to the other side of the VC table, you're a founder at heart. So tell us about your time as a tech founder.
Man, yes. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. Not with the mic, but just because I talk loud. Cool. Oh, hey, there we are. First of all, every time I hear somebody read the bio, it feels weird because it's weird.
All right.
Don't read
Jeff
that.
Ponders II has composed...
No, don't do that. Don't do that, no. All right. So it's fun being a VC, but at my heart, I am absolutely obsessed with how we turn ideas into value exchange and create things that didn't exist before. So I've been a founder since I was like 5. And I am not 5 today. Many decades ago. Many decades. So my first business was, I was 5. My mom tells the story way better than me. It was hot dog and Kool-Aid stand. The older kids in the neighborhood worked for me. They did not take my money. They did not beat me up. But from those early days, just recognizing that you can pull people together, create systems that allow folks to monetize their skills and then also make customers happy and make money while doing it was really, really cool. So fast forward, I get to Wharton and I get exposed to tech in a way that I was not growing up in Detroit. And I grew up in the 90s. So this is early internet, but pre-social media. So you see websites as like what tech is, or you see objects. I get to school and I get exposed to people investing in not just the stock market, but early VC activity. It's like, oh, snap, people are making a whole bunch of money doing stuff. And what's this tech stuff? And then 2004 hits and Facebook drops. And it's like, whoa, also really cool. So I started really entertaining the idea of how digital experiences could impact how people lived, because I grew up in a time when we really didn't have digital experiences, and I saw how it transformed how we lived. So I started doing some consulting, actually, with other entrepreneurs who were building tech things. And then in 2013, I did my first tech-based business. And it was called the Cookie app. I was in an accelerator, actually called Bizdom, which was also based here in Cleveland. I did it in Detroit. I was a solo founder who could not code, which is like being a lead singer or a band who can't sing. And I did that for about 18 to 24 months. Raised a little bit of money, not enough money. Didn't get a co-founder for over a year, which was also really hard, because I spent a lot of money on product. Learned a lot of lessons, and even starting that business was built on a lot of experiences I had working in digital marketing over the prior decade. So first company, got a lot of battle scars, but also learned a lot of things and made a lot of really good relationships. And that, sparked me into becoming a lean startup expert and coach, and helping other founders not waste a bunch of money like I did in that first go round. And also started opening doors for relationships to move on to the investing side.
So you spent time as a founder, time as an advisor, time as an entrepreneur in residence. What did that experience teach you when you stepped to the other side of the table and became an investor?
Sure. So the first thing I learned is how hard it is. So we're not going to talk about how hard all the things are, because there's a lot of things that are hard, but there's a lot of really wonderful things about being an entrepreneur too. So the first thing was just empathy with founders. It is really hard to do something that hasn't been done before. And even if you're building a business that is just a really close competitor to something somebody else is doing, your business is brand new. Like what you're doing, nobody else has done before, because you're doing it. So the empathy of the challenges of building something from the ground up, that's number one. Two, what it's like to go and ask people for money. It's weird. Like, hey, I have an idea, please give me your money. Which is don't pitch like that ever. But, understanding how to, the humility that it takes to do that, but also the confidence you have to be able to deliver that message with, how to sell a story. So that's also been helpful. And being an investor today and looking at a lot of my peers, many of them haven't been founders before. And so we look at what's your idea? Tell me about the market size. What are the terms? Like, we look at things in a very, very pragmatic way, and we often lose the humanity of what it means to be a person building the thing. And so I think that's probably been the biggest thing that my experience as a founder gave me, which is I've been in the trenches. I know what it feels like. And so I'm able to relate to founders in a way that other VCs can't, which means, but also because I know what investors are looking for, I can help them help pull them into the language and the experiences they need to have in order to be successful.
So in addition to your obvious knowledge of VC, it seems like you have a real passion for people.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. Just thinking about my journey, I think it's important for everybody to figure out what they're passionate about. And most of us aren't passionate about one thing. If you are, God bless you. Your life is super simple. Man, I almost envy it. That's not me. I'm passionate about a number of things. I love business. I love how we can, like I said, turn ideas into value exchange. That captured me at an early age. Just like, this is going to sound weird, Michael Jackson captured me at an early age too, but not in a weird way where I was kidnapped at Neverland. It was music. I fell in love with music at an early age, and I love business and creating things. I love creative expression, but I also love helping people. And my parents, they often serve people, and so I grew up helping people, and those three things keep me balanced. It's like a three-legged stool.
Developing businesses, helping people, but there's a lot more to Jeff Ponders. For anybody that saw the picture that was up on the screen, when we first started, you're a passionate musician. Yeah. You have more than 2-decade career as a performer. So talk about the role that, we'll stay on passion here. Talk about the role that passion plays in kind of all of your pursuits.
I will. Can I take a quick? Can I just kind of pivot real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can y'all see his socks? I'm also passionate about socks. And he has look at these.
They are pink flamingo awesome. Floaty socks. So yes. For the record,
amazing socks.
Thank you.
I hope y'all got that on camera. So So I think passion is really important. For me, it's hard to do things that we're not passionate about. We have to. Like, nobody's passionate about washing dishes. Very few people are passionate about cutting grass. Definitely nobody's passionate about picking up dog poop. And so when we have to do things that we're not passionate about, that's when work happens, because you have to push through to do something that you don't really want to do. I've spent a lot of my time, especially growing up and in my early career, trying to, chasing passion was easy, but trying to figure out what purpose was also equally important. And so I spent a lot of time trying to find alignment between what are things I love and, why am I here on this planet? And that made a big difference in terms of what I do today. So whether it's music or the coaching people or building things, like, I'm passionate about those things. Fortunately, they also make money, and they can help, and they help people, they help the world. So I invested a lot of time and energy to figure that out.
So you mentioned alignment, and I have to imagine, well, I don't have to imagine because I've watched some of your talks, and I know that there are common threads between, especially for you in the way that you talk about it, about music and entrepreneurship. How are jazz and business connected?
All right, real quick, who in here is an entrepreneur? Oh, wow, that's awesome. All right, who here has ever failed at something? All right, who here has been in a meeting where somebody said something stupid? Who here said something stupid? All right, so the idea of jazz is about performance. It's about real-time creativity. It's about collaboration and co-creation. It's about rigor and study. It's about a little swag. Like, it is a perfect metaphor for life. When you're in that meeting and somebody says something stupid, you couldn't just walk out, right? You were there for a reason. You had to figure out how to turn the thing around. You probably didn't have a script because you didn't expect them to say the stupid thing, right? That's improvisation. It is, this just happened. Oh, crap. What do I have in my toolkit that can allow me to turn this situation that is full of dissonance and a little bit of crazy into something that's more harmonious? That's improvisation. And in order to do that, you actually had to have a bank of skills, rigor, practice, in order to actually take the moment and know what to do and how to use the skills you had to make it all work. Still part of jazz. You also had to deliver whatever message you said, whether it's turning the thing into a joke or saying, hey, y'all, they're crazy. Let's not do that. Let's try this instead. You had to have the performance skills to actually command the attention and pull the people in a different direction. All these things are things you learn in music. And let's not even talk about collaboration and co-creation. If you're an entrepreneur, nobody wins by themselves. I mentioned being a solo founder, hard. But when you have 2 or 3 people gathered, good things happen. And so in jazz, when you're on stage, you may have a song that you're playing, but in real life, what's happening, you're creating in the moment. Nobody's playing exactly what's on the page. When you're building a business, you have a plan, but you're dealing with what's happening in front of you. You have to respond in the moment. You are creating something in real time with real people. And so those are all principles, and they pretty easily translate over.
So I played a pretty mean trumpet in high school marching band.
Uh-huh.
And famous trumpet player Miles Davis once said, fear no mistakes, there are none.
There are none. That's right.
So how can mistakes become opportunities for entrepreneurs?
So actually, I love the Miles story. Can I tell the story?
Tell the story.
Sweet. All right. So Miles Davis, the story where he said, fear no mistakes, there are none. He was playing a concert in Germany with Herbie Hancock. Hey. So Herbie was young, and if you guys know anything about Miles Davis, Miles was a firecracker, real intense. Miles didn't care who you were. He would fight. He would pull a gun on anybody. He did pull guns on people. And Herbie messed up while Miles was playing a solo. Herbie was scared. And if Herbie ever watches this, he might say, hey, I wasn't scared. And I trust Herbie's word. I believe Herbie was scared. And so as he's saying, hey, my bad, it's not even my bad. I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. Miles was like, there was a mistake. And what Miles did, he heard something different. The chord was different. It was a different color to play with. It's a different form of inspiration. It was a new opportunity. He made magic out of it. Life is, when things go bad, something going bad basically really means that what you expected to happen did not happen. If you expected it, you planned for it, you know what to do. It's not really a problem. You may not like it, but you're fine. When mistakes happen, that means I had an intention that did not go through. When that happens, you can't sit there and you can cry, and you might cry, But you got to do something. Like, you can't just stop and roll over. You have to do something with it. And so it's when you put baking soda in your cake instead of putting flour in there, you're like, okay, what are we going to do with this? I don't necessarily want to throw it away. Don't eat it for real. But, like, what can it turn into? And just taking a step back and just asking, what if or what could? I think that's where the magic happened. I think often we find ourselves in situations where, again, things don't go the way we want them to. But when those new doors open up, we have to look at the world a different way, and that those different perspectives create really interesting strategic opportunities that could become competitive advantages, new products, new revenue opportunities, create new customers. All kind of things happen because guess what? It's not on our script, and now we have to look at the world a different way. I think it's like the best thing ever. Yay, mistakes.
So I've gone through the list already a couple times, but you're an advisor, a VC, an entrepreneur, a jazz musician. You're also, as we were talking about before we started this conversation, you and I, you're a dad to 3. You're a newly published author. How do you find balance?
Poorly. I suck at it. I'm really bad at balance, but what I'm really good at is harmony.
Describe the difference.
All right. Let's see. All right. Don't do this here because I'm not getting sued today. But in your free time, I want you to, like, whoever's here, whoever's watching, like, just stand up and then stand on one foot if you can. And feel what your one foot that's on the ground is doing. Like, and the goal is to not fall over, by the way. Like, don't stand on one foot and just fall over. That's not the idea. What you'll find is that the one foot that's planted is consistently moving around, trying to keep you upright. That's balance. And that's okay. When you're balanced, guess what you're not doing? Moving forward. You're just there trying to find a way to keep all the balls in the air. In this case, how to keep yourself upright. But you're not moving forward. Harmony is finding ways to take the things that appear to not really fully be in alignment, not be the exact same thing, your right and left foot, and make them work together for progress, or at least to sound really good. And so that's the difference to me. They say you can't have it all. And I think that's true. You can't have it all at one time, but you can have it all, right? I have sucked at a lot of things in my life. Like, yeah, I can actually lay down on the couch and we can, like, pour through all the things that are terrible right now. But the flip side is there's some things that are really, really good. And what I've spent a lot of my time doing is, one, focusing on the good things, keeping my eyes focused on the direction I want to go, and finding ways for music and investing and building and family, and the author thing too. Like, how can I make all the things that matter in my life, how can I bring them together so that they kind of feed each other? Like, can I get a flywheel effect on life and the things that I'm passionate about and purpose to do? And so, example, like we talked about the principles of music and how they connect to being an entrepreneur or to life and business. Great. That means when I play, I can go talk to a business about my music stuff. And hey, come to my show. We're going to have a good time there. And then you're going to be like, we're going to talk about how this stuff translates over into business. Like, I get paid sometimes in a really nice way to talk about how music correlates into business. Conversely, I wrote a book about my life, well, not just my life, but about how to find the balance, or better yet, the harmony in who we are and what matters to us. Like, I spent time saying, how can I be all me all the time? Like, not just business me or music me. How can I just be Jeff and then allow the full me to embrace every single moment? Like, I talk about Batman a lot. Batman is actually, like, one of my favorite superheroes, but Batman is a really flawed character. Like, he's a failure at pretty much everything he does. But a big part of the reason for that is that Batman is trying to be Batman over here and Bruce Wayne over here and not let you know who he is. Tony Stark, conversely, like, Iron Man was just crushing it. Iron Man saved the world. He stopped the snap. He did all the things. And he also let you know, I'm Tony Stark and I'm Iron Man. And because he was fully embraced who he was more successful at all the things he did. So, sorry for any superhero nerds out there.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah. So in the book, just came out, Better, and I'll give you the full title and everything afterwards, so you get all ordered on Amazon at once.
Yes.
So you outlined steps to superhero analogy: shed your mask,
yes,
own your freedom, or really a framework, I guess, to discover what you want in life. Without too many spoilers, share a little bit more about the philosophy that you explore in the book.
Gladly and unexpected, but sure. The book happened because I had a breakdown. Because I was trying to find I was trying to find harmony. I was trying to find balance, and I was doing a really bad job of it. Like I talk about how I was trying to live a Batman life. There's a whole TED talk about it. It's real, and me trying to keep my worlds apart, like it really messed me up. I'm a black man. Black men don't cry. Yes, we do. And I was like curled up in the fetal position on my kitchen floor crying. 'Cause I'm like, yo, like my job is okay. I got a family and that's cool. Music is okay, but I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm not fulfilled with pretty much anything I'm doing. And that's because I wasn't all in. I was like trying to be this guy here, that guy there, and it wasn't working out. So literally I stood up and this was a God moment. 3 questions. And the questions are, I looked in the mirror, like wiped my face off. Questions were, who are you? Who am I? And just, I had to come to a place of acceptance and appreciation for who I was as a human being, to not allow the sins of my past, the sins of my father, my failure, whatever happened in the past, it just is what it is. Like, I literally couldn't change anything that was. And in this moment, I had to be able to look at myself and say, I'm okay. Like, who I am as a person is okay. Doesn't mean I want to stay that way, but I'm okay with accepting that this is where I am. It's facts. You can't change it. It's facts. Second question. So first one, just grounding on here's where we are. Second question was, who do I want to be? And this is future casting. Funny, we're at FutureLAND, right? FutureLAnd. And painting a picture of what I wanted life to look like. And not just like possessions and material things, but how did I want to think? What do I want my friend group to look like? What kind of activities did I want to have? Like, I did think about the things I wanted to have. I wanted to have a bunch of money. Like, not just a bunch of money for the sake of a bunch of money, but I want to be able to help people, and so I needed resources to do that. So I started looking at, what do I want life to look like? How do I want it to work? How do I want my time to move? All of that. And then the third part, which is where all the fun happens. So anyway, we ground ourselves in facts. We set our intentions on the future. And the fun is in the middle, which is called the becoming. And I said, how am I thinking? If I look at the trajectory of my thoughts, my words, my actions, where is it taking me? And is it taking me closer to that aspirational self, or is it pushing me in a different direction? And the becoming is what I had to manage on a consistent basis. I have to think about my thoughts and call them into alignment with who I want to be. Same thing with my words and my actions. And so every day I focus on my becoming, and it pushed me in the right direction. So those are the 3 questions I asked myself. They legit were God-given, because it wasn't like I read a book and was like, oh, let me do the 3 questions. There's a book now because I wrote it. But it changed the direction of my life. And what I started doing, like, I'm a strategist by trade. So before, like, while being an entrepreneur and before doing tech stuff, I was also working in marketing. And I worked in strategy. I believe in solving problems. I'm really good at solving problems. I'm making sure we're solving the right problems. I started using that same framework for business, and I would use it with walking really big clients through. Hey, let's figure out where we are. Okay, great. What are our goals and objectives? Okay, cool. Now it literally just aligned perfectly, and I was testing it out, and it was working. And so I also did it with some individuals who were in the same place as I was, just trying to figure out how to take better control of the direction of their lives, and it worked. And so,
is that a one-time exercise? Do you ask yourself that now? Would your answers be different now than they were then?
So, would you go to the gym one time and then quit?
Well, me, maybe.
So I think anything that's worth doing is probably worth doing again. And certainly when we're thinking about the direction of who we are and where we're going, we have to go and definitely recalibrate from time to time. My answers have been pretty consistent because they're rooted in purpose and passion, and the alignment between my purpose and passion. And I'm really fortunate that what I do, like, I love about 98% of the things I do every day. The 2% super suck, but the other 98 are awesome. Like, I think about, like, I get to work with an incredible team every day at ID Ventures, and we invest in amazing founders. It's crazy exciting. And then I get to go, and anywhere from 8 to 12 times a month, I get to play music in front of people. And Even if it doesn't pay well, I'm having a great time because I'm playing with people I love. And sometimes it pays really well. And I go home and I go hang out with my kids, and my kids are the coolest little people that you can ever see in the entire world. Like, I'm living my dreams, but I'm also consistently making sure that the things I do allow me to live my dream.
So you found a really good way to not only analyze yourself, but something that other people can take and analyze themselves. And it applies to a lot of different things. And you've figured out a way to apply it to a lot of different things. So, I mean, that's a great jumping off point for advice and mentorship. How have mentors and advisors, you are one at this point, but how have mentors and advisors supported you in your entrepreneurial, investing, writing journey?
So I took my hat off so you guys can see that I'm seasoned. I'm not old, but I'm seasoned. I've had amazing mentors on my journey. And it's funny. I think mentorship it's a two-way street, and it doesn't happen just because you lose a hairline. I can think about Josh Linkner, who is an investor and entrepreneur and jazz musician and speaker and author. Like I first encountered Josh. I was watching PBS in 2006. I see this guy doing a fireside chat on PBS. I'm like, oh my God, he's doing everything I want to do in life. He's married with a family. He plays a mean jazz guitar. He's he's working in marketing. He's incredible musician. He's starting to invest in companies. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be this guy. And then literally a week later, I end up in a rehearsal and there he is. And I've been rocking with Josh since 2006. And he's been incredibly helpful. I think about my boss, Patty Glazer at ID Ventures. I've known her probably about 3 years now, and we are very different people. I'm not Patty; she's not Jeff. But when I look at her journey and how she's able to analyze companies, it's helped me become a much better investor and even a better advisor or board member by seeing her, seeing how she operates. So I just literally across the board. I remember one of the first mentors I can think of. The name is Dale Mullins. Dale was one of the first black automotive suppliers. He was a supplier for GM and Chrysler, and he was one of our first mentors with entrepreneurship. And I remember I was probably about 14 years old. I was like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to grow companies. And he's like, okay, cool. He reached down, because he lived 3 houses down from me. He grabbed a handful of grass, and he handed me. I'm like, all right, like, I'm not smoking this. Like, this is weird. I don't know what's happening right now. He said, sell it to me. I was like, what? Sell me this grass. Like, I just watched the man pull the grass up. And so I say, okay, here, you can burn the grass and make a fire. All right, give me another one. So he's having me just explore different solutions off of something that was placed in my hand, which as entrepreneurs, you got something in your hand or something in your head. How many different ways can you flip it? How many different ways can you find? So how many different problems can be solved for this thing? Or better yet, here's a problem. How many different ways can you solve this problem? So I've had a ton of mentors who have helped. And, I've been fortunate to do the same for other people. People in my age group, people older, people younger. I think that's an important thing about mentorship. Mentorship has zero to do with age. It just has everything to do with your ability to connect with another human being and help them see the world in a different way. So,
I got to say, Jeff, it sounds like he had a bald patch in his yard that was the exact size of the amount of grass that you had to sell.
Wait, are we talking about bald jokes like bald jokes?
No. Oh. In his yard that he pulled out.
Yeah. We could have went there. Hey, let's make your lawn whole. Actually, he didn't pull it from his lawn though. So.
Typically, I like to end the long form questions on a piece of advice or a great piece of advice. But you're a musician, so I'm going to ask for your greatest hits of advice and give us maybe 2 or 3.
All right, that's cool. You can tell I wasn't prepared for this, right? All right, no, all good. So greatest advice. Your ideas suck. That's number 1. All of our ideas suck. That doesn't mean there aren't good ideas. Like we hear things like, oh my God, that's amazing. Ideas suck. Execution always wins. Always wins. That doesn't mean don't explore your ideas, and you're not going to say some really smart stuff sometime. But the real question is, what are you doing? In fact, my favorite question is, so what you going to do? Like literally at every turn, so what you going to do? So that's number one. Two, nobody wins alone. Nobody wins alone. Like we can think about whether you are an athlete, an entrepreneur, like you literally can't win alone. Like I played tennis growing up and in high school. And I played solo. I played singles, right? And you think, hey, I win. No, I have coaches. Like I couldn't win. I couldn't get better without having coaches. Or better, if I didn't have a coach, watching other people play to actually understand technique. Like I needed somebody else to know how to play the game better. Or even if I figured it out, who made the ball? Like everything requires other people. Nobody wins alone. And being able to respect all the people along the journey, whether they're directly connected to you or tangentially. 3. All right. So every morning with my kids, we do an affirmation. We go through some mindset things. And I'm training my kids to be entrepreneurs. And so we have the last part of the affirmation. Yes, sir. The last part of the affirmation, I say, how do you make money? Their response is by helping people. Every business helps you. Every single business helps somebody. Say, how do you make more money? By helping more people or helping people solve bigger problems? Can you make money if you don't help people? No. There's zero way to make money without helping somebody. I can guarantee that. If you help people, are you guaranteed to make money? No. We all know we've helped people and we didn't make no money. But what do we always do? We always help people. The last piece of advice is always to help. Like, we all need help, and we all can help. And we don't help for the sake of making money, though sometimes we do. We have a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in the room. Help people. If you focus on how can I serve people, how can I help people solve their problems, solve more of their problems, solve their problems more deeply, more fully, you will always find your way forward. The business may not last, but you'll be better for it. The people who you've helped will be better for it. And even if it's not the business that makes it, you'll get closer to the one that does. So help people.
Thank you. Yeah. This has been a genuine pleasure, let me just say. We're not done yet.
Yes.
We've got my favorite portion of Founders Unfiltered, which is my fast 5 questions. Now, here's how this is going to work. There's actually 6 questions. You have to answer 5 of them.
Okay.
But if you answer all 6, you'll win a prize.
Wait. Can you say that one more time? I want to make sure I heard that right.
There's 6 questions.
Yep.
You have to answer 5 of them.
Okay. Got it.
But if you answer all 6, you're going to win a prize.
Cool.
Okay. Now, we try to personalize the prizes. We also have no budget for the prizes. So you're a Detroit guy.
Yes.
So if you answer all 6, Little Caesar's hot and ready coming your way. All right?
Man, that is old faithful. When you have 3 kids and you're in a pinch, it is not the best for their bodies, but man, it makes life easy. All right.
Question number 1. If you could play alongside any jazz artist, living or dead, who would it be?
Any. So let me counter question you.
All right.
What if I've already played with them?
Okay, who's the most impressive jazz artist you've played with, Jeff?
Don't do that. No, so I got a chance to play with Robert Glasper. And so just his approach to chords, like he makes music feel like taking a nap. And not in a bad way. We're not talking like go to sleep. We're talking like I'm going to lay down on his couch and just like, so I thoroughly enjoy playing with him. Now, if it was somebody who, I would love to play with Ahmad Jamal. Amazing pianist. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. If you could go back and invest in any startup, or all businesses were a startup once, anything at its inception, what would it be?
Come on, man. Google. Alphabet. Easy.
Not going with Meta, huh? What is... Not lately. What's your least favorite professional development maxim?
That's a good one. Wow. Least favorite professional development. That's like, so my answer, my immediate answer. So my immediate answer was a stupid one. Let me just say that. Anybody remember SNL and where they would do Celebrity Jeopardy? You remember Sean Connery, right? And he would talk about strategery. And so I'm a strategist, and so the strategy does solve most things, but we can't sometimes some things we can't strategize ourselves out of. So we just got to get it done. I don't know. That's a tough one. Wow. Least favorite professional development maxim that we always have to be nice. Sometimes you have to not be nice to get things done. Doesn't mean you can't be kind, but being nice ain't always the answer.
What's the best advice you've received from a mentor that you didn't like at the time?
Best advice I received from a mentor that I did not like, and I still don't like it. You have to choose. Like I said earlier, I think we all have multiple passions. Like we all different things we care about. And if you're a person who has ideas, and I think I'm in a room full of people who have multiple ideas. Like, how many people right now, if I said, "Here's an object, you can give me 3 ideas on what to do with it." The rest of you are lying. You can too, right? And I said, "Now go do one of them." For all of you who wrote your hands and said, "Me," the challenge saying, "I'm going to do this one" is really hard because you're like, "But they're all really good ideas." But the flip side is there's nothing more powerful than focus, and that has been the hardest lesson in my life. Like, I'm good at a lot of things. There's some things I'm great at, but I'm good at a lot. Some of the things I'm good at that I'm not great at, I really enjoy. And to choose to not do the things that I enjoy and I'm good at, like I'm good enough to be like to have impact with it, but not as impactful if I focus on certain things. Really hard. So you gotta choose, Jeff. Shut up. All right, fine. I'm gonna choose.
These got a lot deeper than most of my fast questions, so I'll ask a really light one. You're a Detroit Lions fan.
Yes,
famously,
we're going to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's my question. Famously, the only NFC team to never go to the Super Bowl, but you're sitting here in Cleveland with one of 3 AFC teams to never go to the Super Bowl. So who wins the Super Bowl first, the Lions or the Browns?
I mean, the Browns obviously have a better all right. That's tough. So, mind you, now, while we did not go to the Super Bowl, we did win a championship before there were Super Bowls.
Well, we've got multiples of those here in Cleveland.
Fair. So, I play fantasy football, so I know more about football than I care to know sometimes. The Lions have the foundation for a really good team. We have not cracked the code yet. The Browns' running game is tough. And we're going to see what happens when Deshaun Watson comes and if he makes a difference. I hate to say I think Cleveland no. Cleveland does not win the Super Bowl before the Lions. Here's why. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. Getting through those. And they're young, talented teams. You got to get through them to get to the Super Bowl. And I think our path to get there is a little bit lighter.
I don't know if we have any Philadelphia Eagles fans here, but they'd probably say otherwise to you.
And now it'll be fair. It'll be fair. And it'll be fair. But the Bills and the Chiefs are tough.
We're going to do an hour of sports talk after this if you guys want to join us. All right, last one.
Yes.
We'll see if you answer all 6, though. Your Amazon bio says that you have 3 rambunctious kids.
Yes.
Which one's your favorite?
I have an answer for this. So remember what my mentor said, right? You got to choose. My oldest son is my favorite oldest son. My daughter is my favorite daughter, and my youngest son is my favorite youngest son.
Excellent. Very diplomatic. I have 3 kids, too. I always tell them that 2 of you are my favorite, but I never tell them which ones, so they always have to be on their toes.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's it. You're off the hot seat. That was fantastic. We've got a little bit of time left to open it up for audience Q&A.
Oh, the book is called Better.
There you go.
If you look up Jeff Ponders II and Better, you will find it.
I'll do it officially, the commercial. Better, 3 steps to shed your masks, own your freedom, and make one day today is available now on Amazon.
Can I talk about that last part real quick? How many people have said, I'm going to do it tomorrow? Like, for real, raise your hand. You ever said, I'm going to do it tomorrow? Liars who did not raise your hands. It's okay. I'm looking at each one of you. It's so easy to put off the stuff that we care about, especially when we're talking about work and passion. Like a lot of us, we work jobs. We say, I'm going to do this career. And when I retire, I'm going to go do all those things. I'm going to travel and eat good and blah, blah, blah. We're saving all the dessert for the end. One day, I think that's terrible. I think that we can't have it all. We may not have it all at the same time, but we don't have to put off the things that make our hearts beat, the things that give us the most joy for after we do all the work. We got to do the work still, but we can find ways to do the work in pursuit of those things. And so I hate the idea of one day I'll get to do it now. Or better yet, find a way to do it while find a way to make the fun thing the thing that you actually do. And do it today. Do it today. So,
excellent.
Yeah, sorry, I'm passionate about that.
So, a little bit. If you have questions for Jeff, raise your hand. We've got a microphone here. We're going to bring it over.
Cool. So my question, and also thank you for everything that you said today. A lot of great information. So my question goes into like your experience with like digging deeper into yourself and showing up as your most authentic self. And you know, just as much as I know, when you grow up in an all-black house, you are told to be a certain way, act a certain way when you're in public. And that was my grandmother's philosophy in the Deep South. And as a professional, trying to come out of that where I can wear my hair in meetings and be okay, you know, speak a certain way and all other stuff. I'm just wondering, like, what steps were you taking when you were in those meetings and you're like, okay, I have to start showing up as the real Jeff. I have to start showing up, and even events and stuff like that. Like, what were some of those things that you were doing and those mind triggers that you were having to make sure you were holding yourself accountable to being that person, your person?
That's a fantastic. I love the question. I love your hair. Yes. All right. So one, what makes you unique is what makes you unique, and most of us, like, if you've ever hired somebody before, right? Like, you can always find somebody to do the job. What you're looking for is somebody who's going to do more. Like, you want that je ne sais quoi. You want that pizzazz. You want somebody who's going to be a difference maker, right? You don't get that by just putting the peg in the hole, right? And so I realized that I can do the same job as everybody else. But if I want to have impact, if I want to be recognized, well, I got it. Like, you're not going to recognize me for doing the same job that Joe did over here. You're going to recognize me for doing something different, something better. Like, I still got to check the boxes, but, and after a decade of trying to just fit the mold, and I wasn't happy. They were okay, but it wasn't moving like I wanted it to. Well, I think I'm pretty awesome sometimes. So let me just be me and let's see what happens. At least I won't regret it, right? And the things that have made me different, I can be loud sometimes, yes. I do things that other people don't do. I play music. Most people in corporate settings don't go and play gigs at night. All right. So I just started talking about my life in real life. I stopped hiding parts of my life that actually mattered to me. Like, if I'm excited about this gig I'm going to do this weekend, why would I not talk about it? Like, we don't have to talk about it and not do the work, but let me be happy at work. If I'm happy at work, guess what you're going to be? Probably happier too, because I'm bringing better energy. So it started with just that. I started talking about music again at work, and people wanted to come to shows, and they did, and they had a good time, and we built better relationships. But then, like, I'm a black dude from Detroit. Like, I'm well put together most of the time. Sometimes I'm not, but most of the time I am. And guess what? I can wear a hat in a meeting sometimes. Does it make me any less professional? Am I going to say something stupid because I have a hat on? No. If anything, what's going to happen? Hey, that's your hat. Is it Beater? What is it saying? That people have asked me that a lot. Like, or somebody else says, "Oh my God, I get it." Aha! Like, and so simple things. Or personal philosophy. I realize that people would be bored, and like we can get really bored at work. We spend more time with people at work than we do with our families. Why are we going to be bored? Like, we all want to have a good time. So I just started being a human being and inviting other people to be human too. Like, let's play music before this meeting. Let's tell a bad joke. Like, hey, you want some food? I got cookies. Like just simple things that allow work to be more fun. And for me, that was intentional. It's like I want to make the world a better place. Here's some simple things I can do. Here's me being my full self, talking about things that matter to me, and asking people about the things that matter to them too. So it wasn't just about me doing my part. It was also about inviting other people to do the same thing. Now, so for me, the simple steps were I just stopped trying to not be my full self. Now, the flip side is that we can also do things that can help other people to do the same thing. And there are lots of barriers that we have, whether it is systemic or like is learned from family. Hey, don't you talk loud. I'm gonna hit you with a shoe. Like, I'm sorry if you got hit with a shoe at any point in life, but we have to unlearn some of those behaviors, and we can encourage that by creating safer spaces for people too. Like I could talk about, we didn't even talk about the whole Detroit initiative with like money and stuff, but that's like there's a lot we could talk about with how we can help other folks to feel safer to be themselves. Actually, real quick, all right, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the room. Who here has ever felt like who they were was an impediment to them being successful as an entrepreneur? Okay. Say, like, we can go being successful, raising money, getting cut, like, and so there are things we can do to remove those barriers. If anybody here is like in policy, like we got a really cool initiative happening in Detroit right now called Venture 313, where we are like, it's been $10 million committed to early stage entrepreneurs. Detroit's a very, very colorful city. And so helping folks who are residents of the city to take the leap and not be afraid of taking that first step. And so we're really attacking systems to make it easier for people to not feel uncomfortable pursuing an idea. So anyway, so there's lots of stuff we can do. Taking the first step, whatever it means to you, if that makes sense. I said a lot of words. I'm sorry.
No, I got it.
Cool.
Other questions? One on each side over here. If you do bring in cookies for your coworkers, though, you can't just go to the gym once and then never go back.
I go to the gym every day. I'm saying, you want to come with me?
That's a long drive, but maybe.
Hi, sorry I lost my voice. My name is Shireen. I am the owner and creator of Vegan Vibes.
Yes.
It's a plant-based food company here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's all Panamanian, all vegan. My question is to you as an investor. So I feel like for the past 4 years, I've been grinding, doing the work, scaling up constantly. Right now, I'm in the process of opening my first brick and mortar. Just got the keys.
Hey.
So I'm going to rock this out. Thank
Oh,
you.
let's clap for that. Keys.
Thank you. So I do have this big grand vision. I call, getting the keys. I said this is just chapter 2. So I do have this big grand vision for my brand, which will eventually include investors and potential partners. So as an investor, what are some advices or some tips that you can give me from someone on the inside looking out, not only like what to do to attract the right investors, but also what to watch out for?
That was good. That's a good question. All right, every investor is not a good investor. Some of us are sharks. I'm not a shark most of the time. All right. So first things first, everybody wants to be a part of a winning team. The easiest way to attract an investor is be a winner. We're all winners, yay! Like, we're not talking about certificates of participation. We're talking about, hey, go get traction. Like, whatever traction means for your business. In your case, it's probably sales, right? Get traction. Like, be successful, and you will have a much easier time raising money. That's number one. Number two, have a clear vision that somebody can process. Like, so, and restaurants are challenging. It's funny because we just invested in a really interesting restaurant concept. We just closed on it like 2 weeks ago. Restaurant concepts are interesting for investors and different types of investors. So I'm glad you said the right type of investor. What did it look like for your business to scale? Is your business at its peak having, 20 locations in Northern Ohio? Or is it that you have a franchise model that gets spread across the country? Or anything in between? Or is it that you say, hey, we're going to actually go CPG and we're going to put this in Whole Foods and Trader Joe's? Or maybe we're going to go direct to customer. We're going to find a way to actually ship our product that's perishable. Like, all those things are fair game. But understanding what your vision is matters a lot. 3 is having a great team. Like I said, nobody wins alone. I've been a solo founder a lot. Like before I did a tech business, I was like doing solo consulting. It was fun. I'm an only kid. I'm comfortable working by myself. I can build all the Legos. Yay. We invest in teams. The other thing is that the contributions of the team will make not your vision, but the vision better. It's really easy for us to hold on to our businesses like they are our babies. And imagine if your parents never let you leave the house. Some of us, our parents would still try to not let us leave the house. My mom does not want me to leave the house. I've left the house. But, you've got to be able to release the vision and allow other people to make contributions to make it bigger and better. So, just 1, traction. 2, be clear about the vision. 3, build a team that allows the vision to become even better than what you can dream of yourself. Cool.
I will say, for anybody that hasn't had Vegan Vibes, just a quick plug. My diet is like 60% stadium hot dogs, but Vegan Vibes is really, really good. Really good.
I appreciate that plug because I had a 40-day Daniel fast, and that was the worst time of my entire life. I've since come to appreciate that there are good vegan foods, but that 40 days sucked. Oh my God, your food's amazing. I'm sure I'm gonna try it.
We are right about time, so maybe one more question right over here.
Oh wow.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Kevin Conwell Jr.
Yes, Wake Hustle Grind. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, get the merch. WakeHustleGrind.com.
Yes.
But yeah, I want to first say thank you for being here. I think everybody should give you a round of applause for even being here. I know it's not a filled out room, and a lot of people don't want to give good content when it's not a filled out room. So I want to first say I appreciate you for that. Secondly, my parents are council people here, so I would love to talk to you about policy afterwards because I could probably help you get in the door a little bit more here. My business is Wake Hustle Grind. I started in 2013. I started while I was in college, going through school. I worked doing contracting. The one thing I learned at not at Trimco Roofing, but at the VA, I learned how to do contracting, and I learned how to do deals and how to be yourself. The one thing, I was working on my MBA. I was 8 hours away. I got the best out of the entire country for small business ownership, for raising them to be able to get money with veterans as an intern. So I get an award by a system while I'm in college. I just graduated, right? Hope you following me. I get the award. I'm the lowest paid. I come to the manager to talk about money. How can I get paid? He's like, from what I hear, boy, you're not doing your job. I'm like, what? Ooh. So at the meantime, I'm doing my marketing company. I do graphic design too. Doing my marketing company. Trimco Roofing just cut me a check for $30K. So on my lunch break, I go get the check for $30K. I come back and I say, you know what? I hired myself. I don't even need this place. So eventually, I leave out to do my own thing. That's a short story about me. I just want to say thank you for coming. I want to see how I can partner with you. I have other businesses in LA and Atlanta that I'm doing very well in. I made my first $1 million on paper with an NFT company.
Let's go.
We got the first mixtape on the metaverse. And also, too, I finally got my paperwork for my nonprofit, and we're going to give free energy for everybody. Energy for everybody. Yes, that's our goal.
Everybody's about to come talk to you, right?
Free energy for everybody.
He got the bag and energy.
I've partnered with a solar company out in Fresno, and they're going to give me my infrastructure for what I need here in the Midwest, because they're not looking at how to put solar on a lot of places here. But I have a great plan and infrastructure to scale to, at least on my test pilot, $50 million a month. And I already have my performer and everything. So we need to talk.
Let's talk.
All right. Well, I will say that Jeff did agree to be gracious enough to hang out in the lobby right outside this room. Unfortunately, we are at time, so we have to give up this room, but we can head out into the lobby out there and continue conversations. If you have other questions for Jeff Ponders II, Better 3 Steps to Shed Your Masks, Own Your Freedom, and Make One Day Today is available now on Amazon. You can find past episodes of Jeff's podcast, Becoming Better, wherever you get your podcasts. and you can find him online at jeffponders.com. One more time, please join me in thanking Jeff Ponders II for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for coming.